What's up guys, it's Alex with Alex Red Fishing and Lucky Tackle Box, and today we're going to be talking about the Hollow Body Shad from Monster Bass that you guys are going to be receiving in this month's Lucky Tackle Box. So let's get right into this video with rigging, retrieval, and location. Alright guys, so let's talk about rigging. I actually rigged this up on a frog fishing specific setup. I have a 7.4 heavy rod. I've got that paired up with an 8 1-to-1 gear ratio reel and 65-pound braid. You guys though, if you don't have a frog fishing specific setup, you guys can pair it up on anywhere from a 7 to 7.5 foot medium heavy to heavy rod, but you're going to want that faster gear ratio reel and that braid, and you're going to want those for a couple of reasons. Number one, if you are fishing this thing around laydowns or the edge of grass where it's designed to be fished, you guys are going to want that braid so that if you hit one and that fish runs over a limb or runs down into that grass, you've got that braid and that power to haul them out and you're not going to break them off. And then you want that reel just in case they hit it and run towards you. You want to be able to catch up with them and be able to hit them as hard as possible so that this thing collapses good and you get both those big old frog fishing hooks into that thing. Alright guys, so let's talk about retrieval on this bait. This bait is really designed to walk the dog just like any other topwater lure that you guys can think of. Spooks, pop hours, all those kinds of things. So for you guys that don't know how to walk the dog, it's actually pretty simple. What you're going to do is you're going to cast your bait out there, and on slack line you're going to give your rod just very small twitches, and what that makes that bait do is it makes it dart from side to side, and that is what is known as walking the dog. So you just give your rod very subtle twitches, you just do little small handle turns, keep the line coming towards you while still keeping a small slack in your line, and it's going to make that bait just dart back and forth and do what we call walking the dog. It's actually pretty simple once you get it down, and once you get it down with one bait, you can pretty much walk the dog with any style topwater bait. Now within that walking the dog style of retrieval, there's a couple of retrieves I like. Number one is just the constant retrieve, just the keep that thing moving, keep it darting from side to side. That's great for open water if the bass are pushing bait fish to the top and schooling on them. If you're fishing it down along the edge of a grass line, all those kinds of things are great, just that constant retrieve. Number two is the stop and go. Now for the stop and go, you're gonna do the same as walking the dog. You know, you're just gonna keep it going, but all you're gonna do, throw a pause in there every now and then. Let it sit just a couple seconds, then start twitching it again. Let it sit, start twitching it again. A lot of the times if the bass aren't super aggressive, if they'll run up behind it on that pause, sit there and look at it, get a good look at it, and as soon as it starts moving again, it'll hit those instincts. They'll react to it, they'll attack your bait, and you guys will be able to hook into them and get them to the boat or to the bank. Alright guys, so let's break down a location. There's really, a couple things that I look for when it comes to location on fishing the hollow belly shad. And I really look for vegetation, I look for boat docks, and I look for laydowns. All three of those places do a couple things for the bass. Number one, it provides them with protection. Bass loves to be up against things. They want to feel protected, they want to feel comfortable. So they'll get up under things like boat docks, they'll get in things like laydowns, and they'll get in the grass and in the vegetation because it provides them with shade, it provides them with protection, and it's kind of just like a little house for them. And number two, it provides them with food. Everything in the lake, including bait fish, brim, bluegills, bugs, salamanders, crawdads, all those things like to orient to cover just like the bass do. So with the grass mats, the grass is full of oxygen. Really any aquatic vegetation, coontail, hydrilla, hyacinth, all that provides a lot of oxygen, so it draws in all the different animals that live in the lake. So the bugs will be on top eating, the bluegill will eat the bugs, the bass will eat the bluegill, and so on and so forth. So it's just the perfect food chain, and it's a perfect amount of food. The laydowns do the same thing, except for it's minus the oxygen. They draw in all those animals. They draw in the crawdads, the bluegill, all those kinds of things. So the bass has a bunch of food, plus they feel protected. So for you guys that have some kind of aquatic vegetation in your lake, or aquatic vegetation that mats up like this hydrilla does, this bait is going to excel in those places. So right now it's still early in the season, the grass hasn't matted up really good and it's not really cheesy yet, so this bait is going to do great because you can throw it in those grass mats, and when you hit those big open patches in those broken up areas, you can walk the dog with this thing really good. And a lot of the times the bass will be sitting on those edges or sitting in those holes just waiting for something to come over their their head, they'll rush up and they'll react to it. As for the laydowns and the bug docks, it's the same kind of thing. As these fish start to go post spawn, a lot of the times they'll spawn up in the fork of a tree, or they'll spawn in behind a boat dock, and they'll hang out around that boat dock and they'll just eat the bait fish and the brim that are hanging out around there too. And when you throw this hollow belly shad in there, it looks like a dime brim or a dime bait fish, and the bass will rush up out of that cover and they'll eat this bait, and you can get them to the bank or into the boat. But as always, guys, thank you for watching. Make sure to go down below, subscribe to my channel. It's Alex Rub Fishing, and if you got any questions or comments, go down there, leave a comment in the comment section. I'll be down there answering questions. But as always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.